Well, I believe it's 9 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order. Notice of the special meeting of the Commissioners Court here on the 23rd day of October at 9 a.m. And we have Mr. Jeff Watley here from the North Jefferson Church of Christ to lead our prayer this morning. So we'll all rise. We'll have our prayer.
Let us all humble ourselves. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're truly in awe of the creation that you've given us to oversee. Lord, we come before your throne of grace, mercy, and truth. Your holiness and justice and all your judgments are righteous. Lord, we ask a special blessing upon this court today. Our city mayor, our judges, our commissioners, our councilmen and women. We pray for our others that serve in a civil way, our officers, our sheriff department, our firefighters. Lord, we want to really honor the way we treat and respect the service that the heavy responsibility that they carry. We pray for their wisdom, their guidance from your word and will. We pray that we'll always be a country that is focused on your Son. Lord, whatever challenges come, we pray that we'll handle them in a way that brings you honor and glory. Please, Lord, give us strength. Give us wisdom. Give us all here that are leaders the ability to oversee their projects with wisdom, with grace, with true sincerity and care for what they're trying to pass and approve, correct. Lord, thank you. Thank you that we live in a country that these things are taking place where people have a voice. And thank you for those that step up and express that. To serve others is their goal. And we ask a blessing upon their health and well-being, that they can find the contentment and joy that comes from only you. And Lord, may we strive to be pleasing in your sight. Forgive us when we fail thee as we strive to do better. Thank you for your providential care. Thank you for your Son who provided us a way back to you. It's in his name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number one on the agenda is be public comments and requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with Section 551.042, the Texas Open Meetings Act. If anyone wants to speak? Okay. Move on to number two. Consider and possibly approve the minutes from the October 6, 2023 meeting of the Commissioners Court.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve those minutes.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Number three, consider and possibly approve the resolution authorizing the City of Mount Pleasant, Texas Industrial Development Corporation to undertake a project within the Titus County for providing certain economic development assistance to Luminant Generation Company, LLC, and Luminant Mining Company, LLC, and approving the county assuming certain obligations from Luminant Generation Company, LLC, and Luminant Mining Company, LLC, and acquiring certain real property from Luminant General Company and Luminant Mining, LLC. Nothing.
Thank you. Cooper, County Commission, it's a privilege. Thank you for having the IDC here today. I'll summarize briefly kind of just what we're talking about, and I know you guys have had some opportunity to review. We've been back and forth with Attorney John Mark Colburn, but what we're looking to ask you to consider is the resolution that's in front of you, but there's three main parts to it. The first is authorizing the IDC to operate outside of jurisdiction of state law. The city limits of Mount Pleasant are natural jurisdiction, and so this would allow us to operate outside of that for the community's benefit. And then secondly, for section 3, there's been county obligations requested about certain roads and to provide the county with land for gravel pits and those sorts of things. And so those maps are all in the exhibits. And so I stand for questions. I just stand for questions. Is there anything that I can answer further beyond what you're aware of?
John Mark, you're good with that after we talked about the bridges and stuff? And
Yes, sir. We all talked over several days, and we revised the language. Friday afternoon, Judge and I and Nathan kind of revised the language to accommodate that we will be maintaining those two bridges. We agree to do that per the contract, and we're also going to abandon a couple of closed county roads that we don't have any interest in opening back up. So the contract reflects that, and I think that's what satisfies everyone.
And that contract also provides for everybody but Jimmy for they call them lay-down roads, we call them mixing yards or whatever, and those are county property until we deem them abandoned. Is that correct?
Correct, and we'll be able to. One of the things or questions we had was what can we do with that land, and it looks like we were able to do anything we want with it. It's just if we ever abandon it, it goes back to Luminant. So I think that satisfies everyone.
Anyone in the audience have anything to speak on that about?
Yeah, can I have a copy of what you're signing away, or about giving away? Or
We're not giving anything away.
let's go.
No, we're not. All we're doing is, well, all we're doing is signing a contract that we'll take the bridges back over, which we've already owned those from 1990, the two county road bridges. John, you got those numbers, or Nathan, you got those numbers?
1140. I'm sorry.
1140 to 1200.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're on there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe you're in north of town. Is that correct?
You're right.
Okay. The north town will not be affected by this. This is all southward and west, towards different direction than you.
Depends on where you start that. South or north, yes, but.
Yes. She's due north, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I have just one question, Judge. So we're authorizing the EDC to operate on behalf of Titus County. Is that just for this item, or is this permanently?
This item only.
This item only. Thank you.
Consider a motion.
I make a motion to approve it.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve this.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Number 4, Sergeant Bain concerning the nuisance authority in the Texas Health and State Code 343.102.013.
Good morning, everyone. You asked a while back for kind of we've done this past year, and this has kind of been a running report that I've been adding to along. Basically, between me and the other patrolmen, some of the investigators, 4 warnings for garbage refuse and other waste have been issued, 9 warnings for public nuisance, 10 citations for garbage refuse and other waste, 2 citations for public nuisance, and this generated 12 separate defendants, with most having 2 charges each. Complete compliance has been obtained from 5 of the defendants, partial compliance from 4 defendants. Additionally, I am anticipating warrants to be issued for 3 of the defendants for FTA. That's since changed since last week. They've at least entered a plea and started a payment plan on their citations. That does not mean that there's not going to be additional charges to be filed, because compliance has still not been met. An additional defendant was issued 24 citations for illegal dumping, 1 for every piece that was on the ground, and made to clean it up. Sergeant Minor worked a similar case, handled it pretty much the same way. As to the ongoing investigation concerning the sawmill and pallet factory in Talco, I've signed or filed 60 complaints with JP1 against the owner of the business. The court has since issued 60 summonses, and that's pretty much one for every day since me and the state fire marshal did our inspection out there. Again, state fire marshal's office is involved with the investigation for violations of fire code. TCEQ is also looking into that matter.
Do you believe with us, the nuisance law has always been there? They've just really come back with it with a little bit more teeth to it. Do you believe it's helped with you being able to clean some things up? Or?
Well, the way I conduct the business really hadn't changed. You know, we're going to do this, you know, firmly but fairly. We're going to have some situations where we're going to not gain compliance. We're going to either not gain compliance because they're just going to dig their heels in or say, I ain't got to do it, or they don't have the funds to do it. In those cases, we're going to end up going in to do abatement on.
Right.
That's going to be something that we're going to want to look at because on some of them, it's going to be a pretty big cost to get these matters cleaned up. But it's not anything we can't do, but I think we're going to want to kind of choose our timing on how we do it, because I don't know that we necessarily need to throw any undue burden on the county, jump the gun too fast when we may be able to get compliance out of the landowner.
That's the main thing is compliance. We don't want any abatements unless that's the last issue.
Right.
We don't want to own anybody else's land, but we do want to take care of the citizens out there that live around these people and stuff. So
correct.
We do want to force these laws. So
Correct.
Anybody else got any questions for me? Any questions?
When you give them a ticket and they pay it out, what do you do when they get it paid out again? Give them another ticket?
That's right.
A more expensive ticket?
That'll be, the fine amounts will be up to the judge. On some of these charges, they are where like a normal Class C misdemeanor is going to carry a $500 maximum fine plus court costs. Under the Health and Safety Code, some of these charges have a minimum and a maximum fine set by the state. Minimum of $10 and a maximum, I think, of $200 or $250. I don't have that right out in front of me to tell you for sure. And then after that, with those, they will then go up to, I would like to say that they're going to graduate up to being a Class B misdemeanor, but I think they're going to actually fall into a category like what we run into with the Alcoholic Beverage Code, where they're Class B fines but Class C time, which would be no time. So it may not have quite the teeth that we'd like for it to have. But that, again, that'll be something that we'll cross when we get there.
And if they miss it, what do? You have to take them back to court? If they just paying their fine?
Yeah.
And then jail time or whatever, right?
Right.
Whatever the court decides.
Right.
Anybody else? Appreciate you, Mr. Banks.
You bet.
Thank you for being here. Number 5, presentation by Mark Stansel concerning the Nuisance Authority, Texas Health and Safety Code 343.012-013.
Hey, I just want to mention y'all again. I think I've talked to most of y'all about property out there, and what has been done really doesn't fit if you read the law. And I just wanted to ask y'all again to reapproach it and see if you can give me some help.
Well, why isn't there tickets been, I need to ask Baines that, why is there not tickets being issued out here in March, where he lives in Precinct 4?
In regards to his neighbors, one of them, actually both of them, we've received partial compliance off of it. That's going to be the next step. They have not followed through.
They have not moved anything or anything?
They have not completed it. They have not completed to my satisfaction, and obviously not Mark's.
What stage, I mean, I know we give them so much time. Do you know the time frame that we're sitting in that, Mr. Bain, on when they had that to be in compliance with through the warning? Have we run out of days on that yet?
They've run out of days.
So I'm assuming that we'll be back to see them soon then.
That's correct.
And we issue a ticket?
Actually, there's 3 properties. Maybe we're missing one, but actually there's 3 properties there that do not fit.
Have you addressed all 3 of them?
No, I have not. There is one more property. They're along 49, I need to be.
If you'll get us a report back on that, we'd appreciate that, Mr. Bain. We'll see what we can do.
Thank you very much, Officer Bain. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Stancy.
Have a good day.
Number 6, consider and possibly approve the proposed platting and development of Rolling Hills Estate subdivision along County Road 4235 and County Road 4240, consisting of 16 lots. I guess you're back up on the stage, Mr. Bain.
Okay, y'all are probably more familiar with that property than I am, but the short of it is Anthony Cooper has acquired about a 83 and a quarter acre tract there along Highway 49 and 2 county roads 4235 and 4240.
Let me step in that. I'm trying to clear that up a little bit. I think that's going to be the McKelvey's property.
Correct.
Is this what they're talking about, Anthony? Is this raised property that we're talking about, so that everybody, sometimes you get county roads and everybody don't know where we're talking about, so. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So right now the proposed subdivision is going to be conducted in 2 phases, with phase 1 being along 4235 for lots 1 through 6. Each lot's going to be over 1 acre, well meeting our minimum lot size requirements for on-site sewage. They submitted to me an overall site plan from George Sanford, local professional engineer. It meets the requirements of 285.4 of the Texas Administrative Code. There's not going to be a need for interior roads, leastwise not for phase 1, and I don't really foresee one for phase 2. There'll be further land to be developed should Anthony choose to do that, but that would be the resubmitting of additional site plan and plats if and when that time comes.
So all 6 of these lots that we've got off here will be entered from that county road?
Correct.
Jimmy, that's out in your spot.
Yes,
of the word.
I have looked over everything that Clint has. I don't see any problem with any of it, so.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion then to approve this lot.
I make a motion to approve this proposal.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve the plot.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Number 7, consider and possibly approve the fire protection contract presented to Titus County, presented to the City of Mount Pleasant by Titus County, creating a proposal crafted by Jeff Parkman and Jim Parker.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Sorry. I'll start out by saying everyone knows that the previous contract was canceled, so we are in a time crunch to get something done. Me and Jimmy have come up together with a proposal, which is, I feel is a very good proposal that is suitable for the city and county and very affordable. Jimmy, would you like to say?
Yeah. I'd like to explain how this proposal or contract, or for this contract, came about. On Tuesday, October the 10th, the city manager, along with the city council, held a workshop with any interested Titus County taxpayers. The Commissioners Court was also invited. I attended this meeting. No more than 2 members of the Commissioners Court could have attended the meeting because the meeting was not posted 72 hours in advance. Much misleading information was cleared up during discussion between the council and citizens. I learned that the council would not be approving the proposals sent to them by the county judge on Friday, October the 6th, but they were interested in negotiating down on the contract now in place and being disputed. The next morning after the workshop, Commissioner Parsman contacted County Attorney John Mark Coburn and set up a meeting on Thursday, October the 12th, which was the following day, to help us with the legal aspects of writing a proposal. I had come up with some figures that I felt were reasonable to present to the council after attending the workshop and had jotted those down. Those were a 10-year contract with the county to pay $1.1 million to the city for fire protection for 2 years, beginning October 1 of 2024, which is when the current contract that we signed in 22 ends, and beginning in year 3, an increase of half of the consumer price index for our area for 3 years, 3 through 10. I presented those to John Mark. He agreed that my proposal and helped me and Commissioner Parsman put those figures into a legal proposal, which we submitted by email to the County Judge Cooper, Commissioners Applewhite and Mitchell, as well as Ed Thatcher, City Manager, just after noon on Thursday, October the 12th. The City Council met on Tuesday, October the 16th. After much discussion and several minor tweaks recommended by their lawyers, the council unanimously approved the proposal with their changes to be sent back to Commissioners Court for our consideration. I will now read the proposal for the new contract with the minor changes made by the City Council. This is just the highlights of it. There was a lot of it. I say a lot of it. There was some of it that stayed the same. But the term, the agreement is for 10 years. This is what the city sent back to us. The agreement is for 10 years, starting on 10/1/24, after the 2022 agreement concludes. The first 2 years, the payment is $1.1 million for the first 2 years, eliminating the current 1.3. Increases in year 3, the payment increases by 2.5% for the remaining 8 years. This is an increase of $27,500 for the third contract year through the end of the 10 years. This eliminates the 7.5% default increase in the current contract. Termination. The contract can be terminated for cause by either party, but the discretionary termination clause was eliminated. Neither party can terminate at its discretion. Joint purchases. The city added language to make clear that if there is financing arrangement for jointly purchased equipment, that the county can elect to pay its portion through a monthly payment, and that the city will invoice rather than the county making an upfront payment. Disposition of joint purchases. While joint purchases will be in the city's name, the city is responsible for insuring and maintaining the equipment. There will be a true-up if there is any disposition of any equipment jointly purchased at the end or during the agreement that will ensure each party is treated fairly based on what they have contributed to its purchase and how it was disposed of. Fire services. The city clarified the language on which incidents the city responds. Nothing has changed over the past 20 years about the incidents the city responds to. The VFWs will continue to be the first responders to grass and vehicle fires in the county. The city respects their work and they do it well. The city will assist if called upon by the VFDs or if the volunteers do not respond or communicate they are responding in approximately 3 minutes to a grass or vehicle fire in the county. The city is the first responder to all structure fires, all motor vehicle accidents, and when fire rescue is needed in the county, basically all other incident. EMS service. The city has never provided EMS service, and I'll stop right here and say that was something that was put into the proposal, that the city would respond to 911 calls. It's not the 911 calls that they will be, and they've never responded to that. That's always come from the hospital. But Titus Regional EMS provides emergency medical service for city and county. The city provides fire rescue emergency service, which is clarified and occasionally assists the Titus Regional EMS when needed. Miscellaneous, other changes only update the conclusion of the 2022 agreement and the appointment of the city's emergency management coordinator. I would, at this time, like to ask Barbara if she thinks that this plan is in our realm of what we can.
I appreciate the fact that you'd like to have my input on this plan, but I think that's a decision for commissioners to make. My concern, I have several concerns, and I have shared those with John Mark and with Judge Cooper. I have some concerns about the ownership of the equipment. I have some concerns about, well, there's several concerns. The 2.5% increase, is that each year and compounded annually?
Yes.
So in year, just a second.
In year 10, that should put it at where it's at now, 1.3 after the 10th year.
About 1.3 in the 10th year. So the question becomes, does the Commissioners Court want to pay a fee of $1.3 million, or 1.1 for now? Other people within the county have contacted other counties around us, and we're not able to find a single one that pays anywhere near that amount. And my concern also is the contract. We have a gentleman's agreement that the city will come to fires and things like that, but it's not required. So what I'm saying to you is this: that decision is a legal decision, and it's commissioner's decision. But I just want to caution you about those kinds of things. I think it's a decision that y'all need to make, not one that I need to make.
I thought that when you brought it before the city council, it should have been approved in this court before we submitted it to the city council. I thought it should have been approved in this commissioner's court before it was even proposed to the city council.
Well, the proposal that was sent before this one was not approved by us.
It was not given to the city council, it was given to the city manager, not the city council to vote on.
It was a negotiation is what I sent to them, and until you said that they weren't going to accept that, that's the first I've heard of that. I spoke with Ed. I know Mr. Dale's here today, said that he had spoke with the court. I had not spoke with him. I don't know if Joe D has. I don't know if Dana has up to that time. Once I give the proposal that I sent to Mr. Thatcher and just sent it to him only, within a few hours it was on social media. They did have a council meeting, and that proposal was never brought up. I don't know why. Maybe that is because y'all decided that's not what you wanted to do, but it was never discussed or anything in that. So we're trying to run a transparent court. The proposal that I sent to Mr. Thatcher was looked at by Jeff, looked at by Joe D, looked at by Dana, and Jimmy was on vacation and did receive an email of it. I asked if there's any problems with any of that, if we could all live with that contract. And everybody said they thought they could. So therefore I sent that to them as a negotiation. So when they had it on their agenda to vote on there at the city council, I thought that was the proposal that they would be voting on. Instead, it was a proposal that Jimmy and Jeff had proposed through John Mark, helping them write that. And they had sent that, and the other parts of the court did not know anything about that being at the city council to be voted on. So.
I'm very concerned about the fact that this contract does not have an out without default. I believe that the contract that we approved in '22 had that initially, and then the attorney that we used said that that was illegal for us to do that. So we've gone backwards on that particular item. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I know what happened 2 years ago, or it's a year ago. So that may be something that needed to be added just to meet those requirements.
We spoke with Robert Davis. Is that his name? Make sure I get the right name. Robert Davis, a lawyer out of Tyler, and advised us not to sign a contract without out on it, and said that he would not approve that. Also, as Mr. Mitchell has said, we've checked with counties all over the state of Texas and can't find anyone that's paying $1.3 million for their coverages. In the budget this year, Mr. Thatcher brought me their actual budget. At the end of the budget, it was $500,000 or $600,000 under what they had budgeted, and those funds will go back into, I guess, their general fund. So that's funds that, if the budget was 1.3 that we had to pay, seems to me like some of that money should be ours as well in that. And there hadn't been anything shared up on that. And and as far as buying equipment and it being only in the city of Mount Pleasant's name, I'm not for a contract like that. Anybody in the crowd like to speak?
So y'all think that $1.1 million is too much? What about the FDI proposal of $1.2 million? I mean, they said that's what it would take to run a county fire department, so what's the difference on that?
Number one, we would have 100% control of it. We would be in control of the budget. We'd be in control of any purchases or anything that went on with that.
But it's still $1.2 million.
They keep saying that we go back and you can't look back in the future or in the past. I was sitting in history class over for Dick Gilbreth over at the junior high over there many years ago, 7th or 8th grade, whatever year it was. And of course, I didn't think we ought to be worried about history. And I asked Mr. Gilbreth, I said, Mr. Gilbreth, I said, why do we have to even study this darn history? What is this going to help us? And he told me then, and like I said, I was in the 7th grade, and I remember it today. He said, Cooper, if you don't study the past and see what happened in history, then you're going to repeat history. Titus County cannot afford another 333% increase in a 10-year period. We cannot do it. We can't afford it. Your taxes, everybody's talking to me about your taxes, your taxes, your taxes. If we get into something like that again, then your taxes will go up, and there's nothing we can do about it. Marcus.
John, what are your thoughts on the contract that they're talking about right now?
As far as, I have to say the same thing Martin says. You know, I'm here to support the court, and I have court members asking me for my advice on one direction. I have court members asking me for my advice on the other. So I'm not going to say what I think personally is best. I'm going to support them. Whatever they decide, I'm 100% in agreement. With that said, I mean, it just comes down to, as Judge Shipper keeps saying, if we build this ourselves, we'll own it and operate it ourselves. As Commissioner Parchman was saying, you know, the city provides good service, but it comes at a cost. So are we going to be able to build a fire department for the same price as what this contract? It's going to cost more. You know, it's going to cost more. But, you know, what that is, I don't know. We don't know what the future is. But it'll cost more to build it ourselves. But we'll own it and operate it. And it's for them. It's a tough decision. There's pros and cons to both decisions. I do know that the court is very concerned about not owning and operating the city. You know, the city from day one. There's been an issue with the city being able to tell us we're going to, what they want, if they want a $2 million piece of equipment, the city gets to dictate that, and we have to pay for it, and we don't own any of it. And I know every commissioner has an issue with that, so that's definitely an issue. But as far as what it comes right down to, does the court want to control everything, or do they want to outsource it and have an independent contractor take care of it? That's what it comes down to.
John Mark, in your opinion, do you agree that two departments could be better than one if they work together?
Sure. They could definitely, if everything works, if that's part of my worry, because there's worry every way around this. A lot of you won't be here, in 10 years. Who knows if any of us will, right? Same thing with these gentlemen. And I just pray that everybody works together down the road, because if they don't, we could have it could be not in anybody's best interest. So, but we don't know. We just don't know what the future is. But I do have a lot of confidence. I want to say this and praise you just for a minute, because you've really did not have to go to the lengths that you've gone to. You could have taken the easy position and just say, we'll just enter into a contract. You could have done that. You have a lot to learn. You've been, it's a fire hose this first year, and you've been taking on a lot, and you have really educated yourself a lot more than what I thought you could with everything else you were learning. So I praise everybody for that. And Commissioner Parchman and Commissioner Parker, I praise y'all for trying to come up with an alternative. Everybody is what, in my opinion, everybody that I've spoken to has really tried to do what they think's best. And that's really all we can ask you to do. We'll just have to see in the future. Hopefully it all works out whichever direction we go. But I will say every one of you have tried, are really trying to do what you think's best. And that's all I can ask you to do. I mean, the amount of calls, I have not worked on anything in several years to this level with everybody, calling me. Chief McCrae has called me countless times about this. I mean, we've all really trying to do what's right. So, it's a tough decision. I wouldn't want to have to make it on my own, and I respect y'all's decision. I just want you to know, Barbara and I talked about this. Whatever y'all decide, we're going to 100% support it. We're going to do our best to make it, whatever way we go. If we go do this ourselves, we'll do our best to make it successful. I just want everybody to know that.
Mr. Clark's not here today, and I wish he was. There's been some posts on social media that people have sent me. I didn't see it myself. They sent it to me with me standing right where Marcus was, saying that we couldn't build a fire department in 1 year. And I absolutely did say that. But this is not a one-year project. This has been going on since January. We were getting our ducks in a row in case we couldn't come to an agreement. So we're going to build it. If we build a fire department, it'll be less than 2 years. It will not be within just 1 year like Mr. Clark keeps saying. So I'd like to clear that up. So we'll go ahead, Marcus.
Judge, do you think you can have a fire department up, running, and adequate by October?
Absolutely.
Okay. Judge, where are we going to get a fire engine when they're 18 months out or 36 months out, I think? Can we find an engine in time?
We've got one engine that we share right now with the city, and we will get the other engine.
Okay. My question is, what's going to be the best for the citizens of the county for the next, I'm saying 11 because we've already got this year involved in this. Do we spend the $2 million that they said it's going to cost to build fire stations and buy trucks and still spend 1.2, 1.3, 1.4? We don't know that exact figure. What we got from FDI was 1.2 first year with 3 firefighters per day. So we're losing half our services as far as how many are able to respond.
Let me interrupt you. You keep going back to Fire now. Don't worry about Fire International.
I'm just using their numbers. That's all I'm using them for.
You can use them. That's fine.
Yeah. Do we have new numbers, what it'll cost to do it if we do it on our own?
We have numbers. And we don't have to build. We could lease. There's other options.
We don't have to build.
What we're here today to talk about is this proposal that we've got.
Right.
And if that's what you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. So.
Okay. Well, the city, y'all asked to negotiate with the city. I think the city's done their part to help you. Now, whether or not buy equipment, in the past, the county bought the engine and it stayed in the county's name and it was run by Mount Pleasant, maybe that's something they want to look at doing again, I don't know. But, I mean, they've come off a little bit of money, and we're still going to get pretty good service, so I think it's a good deal. That's just my opinion.
Another thing that I looked at on this 2.5% increase, if inflation jumps to 8% over the next 10 years, which is a very possible thing, what is that going to do to a county fire department when we're trying to fund it? That's going to be a significant increase rather than 2.5%.
Well, in 10 years, they went up 333%, so
Well, they can't with this contract, Jody.
our contract has went up 333% in
But
10
they
years.
can't with this one. If we sign this one, it cannot go up at 2.5%.
Let me state this.
saying,
Hold
Jack.
on. Let me state this. There is a default rule in there. So if inflation does go up, like you're talking about going up, their prices are going to go up the same. So they could default just as well. So there is a default in there. Steve, do you have something to say?
Because if ours go up, theirs will go up too.
Absolutely.
You know,
Barbara, could he have one of those microphones?
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Judge. Steve Bolster, 1497 4230, County Road 3240, Mount Pleasant. Looked at the contract. A couple things that we might be missing, or maybe I'm missing it. On the capital expenditures, let's say they need to expand, build another firehouse. We're on the hook for 50% of it. No?
No, is that correct, Tim? It'd be all on the city if y'all decide to put up one in?
You're the one who wrote it.
Capital
You wrote it, right?
Sir?
expenditures.
What'd you put in there?
No, I'm talking about the old, no, we just knew it.
On capital expenditures?
We will not be responsible for half the fire station, is that correct?
For capital, he's talking about.
Let's say you want to put another fire station. The city's paying for the whole fire station?
In the city. In the city, they would pay for it. In the county, we would pay 100%.
Correct. Okay, so, but the equipment that goes in that fire station, we're on,
Split 50-50.
but it would be 50-50. Okay, so the 1.1 million is not a cap, is my point. It's a starting point. There doesn't appear to be negotiation of input from the county side. To me, that's kind of an open-ended checkbook. Personally, if anyone wants to get involved in farming and pay for 50% of any tractors, I would be open to that idea, because that's a good deal. And I understand it is sharing of the expenses, but at the end of the day, it's a service. The second thing is no termination clause. I just that's scary to me, very scary, because if, let's say, it's a whole new commission here, and let's say we don't have the budget, and for whatever mistakes are made, and we are close to a bankrupt type situation, we have now an obligation that we cannot get out of. And I don't know how a city, state, federal entity can operate like that with that hanging over their head.
Steve, could I ask a question there?
Sure.
What's going to be the difference in the county department and the city department if we hadn't got the money to pay that and we still got to pay 1.3?
The difference is that moving down, we would actually have equipment in the county, and hopefully we would have volunteer fire departments that would come together to take care of that and manage that equipment and operate that equipment. Again, we are talking hypotheticals, and I know that doing the fear, uncertainty, doubt type thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to just post some scenarios that possibly could happen. I'm more comfortable, and again, I've mentioned to the commissioners the problem that the U.S. Navy had when they completely outsourced their information technology. As I understand, we have grant money, is that correct, to use it to build a firehouse? Is that a correct statement?
Yes, from that, there's been some we paid the grant, we paid that money and then transferred some of our money over into a fund. Yes,
Okay.
we do have some money there.
So what that means is that there is a buffer, if you will, on the startup of a firehouse,
Absolutely.
right? So,
and also we spoke with a lady that does write for startup fire departments as far as engines and stuff like that go and
Okay.
help on those.
so our costs are controlled at the county level somewhat.
Still have to have a vote to get a new truck or whatever. Yes, we would have control over anything that we do
Right.
purchase as a court, yes.
Okay, so our costs of the startup are, it's not necessarily $5 million of county tax money, if you will. It is a portion which you've appropriated around 1.1, 1.2 million.
2.6, close to it. Around 2.6, I believe Barbara's.
2.6, but part of that is with the grant, using the grant money?
That's all money of there that we've put aside for that, yes.
Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to say, my point is what you folks are saying is that the startup is, I'm going to say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but for the most part paid for the capital expense of the startup. And the control of the maintenance and the operation of the firehouse is an expected cost that is supposed to be relatively level over that period of time. Is that
Yes.
a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for, thank you.
Thank you.
Clarifying.
Barbara, how much, just so that everybody understands, how much ARP funds are available to do this fire station?
The county received $6.3 million in American Rescue Plan funding. We also hired a contractor to assist us in the use of those funds because those are federal funds and they have very specific strings and lots of requirements. They assisted us in making the decision to move those funds to the general fund, which then allowed us to make the decision, I mean you, that you deem necessary. You can spend it in any way that you want to. You only have to meet the local and state purchasing requirements. The initial 6.3 amount, we've spent 1.3 last year and this year paying the city. What that did was that offset our regular budget, which allowed our fund balance to increase. That's one reason why you see our fund balance has increased significantly in the last 2 years. We've also spent around $2.5 million on equipment and other projects that we have sitting there. So we have funds left to do that. And they are no longer grant funds. They are funds that you can use as you deem necessary. So the question is whether or not do we have the money in fund balance to pay for this? Yes, we do. I do want to call one more thing to your attention. I know that the city had a research study done a few years ago, and 3 fire departments were recommended at that time. I believe one of the things that we're talking about here is the county fully funding another fire department. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay. And so having said that, I will tell you that we do have the funds to pay for that.
It,
Thank you, Judge and Commission. Appreciate being here today. I just wanted to say, I'm like John, Mark, and Barbara. I'm going to hold my opinion because I think it is your decision, and we want to say that we respect your whatever decision you make, and we will accept any decision you make, and because we need to go forward, we need to work together on other things. I would like to say a couple of things as far as working with the commission. I know that after when I received the proposal from the judge, I asked him if he wanted to meet together with us on the 10th at the community center, and he said he wanted to meet with the commission first, and then we'd talk about it. And after we met on the 10th, most of the people that were speaking they said, "You're here by yourselves. What can you do? You need to get in a room with the county commission and work this thing out, not just having the meeting with y'all." So, and that was the main theme. And they talked about the contract. The next morning, I called the judge and suggested that we meet on the 24th, which is tomorrow night. And I think the judge's words were, I think we're too far apart to get together on the proposals. And I said, so the proposal that we had from the judge at the time, we did want to talk about it either at the 10th meeting or this 24th meeting and work it out there. But it was a long ways apart from what we are now, and so it didn't get much positive nods from our council. I did send it out to the council. I don't do anything I'm like you, Judge, I don't do anything on social media. People show me stuff, but I did send it out to the council, and they did want to get together and talk about it. The other thing I would say is that again, we respect your decision, and as far as the contract goes, I agree with what Barbara said and y'all said, is that there has to, in any contract, there has to be a default clause. I mean, that's the law. So rather than what came out of it was a year's notice kind of thing, but there has to be a clause in there. If somebody defaults, if you all stop paying, that's a default. If we stop going, that's a default. So that clause has to be in there, so that there's a way to get out. The other thing is that we, in any part of the contract, we have, again, if we would get together and talk, we could negotiate whatever thing you wanted. What we had in the last contract, and even before when I came, was we were doing 50-50 on the equipment. As far as putting it in our name, we agree and understand that it's owned by the county and the city, but when we finance it, we either do a short-term CO or bond to buy it, or we finance it. And when we do that, if it's $2 million or $1.5 million, we finance it, and it has to be in our name for that purpose and insurance purposes. If we came up with the total amount and just bought it outright, then sure, you can title it in both names. So there are parts of this that are, nothing's in concrete. Then the last thing I want to say is that would ask that again, it's okay to feel like we're better if we have 2 or 3 departments, and that's okay. And some people might think, again, as the judge has said, we're better together. Some might say we're better if we have 2 or 3, whatever. But I would just ask you that if that's the case, to own that. And when people ask you why we did whatever we do, say it's because we feel like it's the best thing to do. I'd ask that we've had people here that are here in this room today that have come to council and said, you know, the judge said this, or the commission said this, or it's because of Larry McCray, or it's because of the council or the city. We don't want to be the reason that you decide to do whatever you do. If we can work together, we respect your decisions, your opinions, and we'd like you to
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The last city you come from, what did the county pay y'all for fire protection?
They paid us about $48,000, and then right before I left, they took it down to $17,000. But again, we did not cover the whole county. We went out in our ETJ, and if the volunteer department that was there needed our help, or the city, they would call us and we would go, but we didn't go to every fire or every incident.
But you went for $48,000.
Well, and I told them for the 17, they should just keep that because it didn't help us at all. The running those big trucks out there didn't help us at all. It cost us a lot of money. The other thing that in every county that I've been in my career, the county judge and commission just never recognized that the city is part of the county and pays taxes to the county. In fact, in this county, it's over 50% of the ad valorem taxes you collect come from property in the city. So we, in the other counties, I mean, you're right. They don't, but they don't go to everything. They help with grass fires and that kind of thing, and they will go out and help with a structure fire if requested. But they have to be invited to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Get you a microphone here, Ms. Parker.
Sorry, Holly Parker, Cookville. I'll be quick. I was actually, the first time I ever spoke at County Commissioner Court was last November, and about this issue. And one of my issues still stands. I elect Judge Cooper, and I vote for Mr. Parker. He's my county commissioner. I elect you guys. I vote for you guys to have operational control and budgetary authority over the issues that come to this court. And right now, we do not. And that, to me, after watching this process, that to me is now untenable and if not unacceptable. And so I would like, as a county taxpayer, because I don't get to vote for these gentlemen, you know, I'm assuming everyone in this has the best intentions, right? They want the best for the county, so do I. And in this process, I want the county to have budgetary authority and operation control over everything relating to fire. So I would like us to have our own fire department after everything that I've gone through for the past year in research and then listening to this process. I think it would just be best at this point.
Thank you, Holly.
I'm Tim Dale. As you all know, I serve as the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Mount Pleasant, and have been very involved in this fire study and the proposals that have come before us. I was a part of the fire study back in 2017 on behalf of the city, and no doubt y'all probably heard me say before, but I was the weakest link in the room because I knew nothing about fire protection. But I probably learned about as much as anybody could have because I was interested in it and looked at it and studied it. We'll fast forward on here to our issue today, this contract. We worked diligently. I was on the committee with Commissioner Applewhite and Commissioner Parchman and Councilman Adams and the county judge at that time, Brian Lee. When Judge Cooper was elected, we brought him in the meetings. We wanted him to definitely have a part and a say and know where and why we was going, the direction we was going. The fire chief was involved in it. Our legal counsel was involved in it. I may be leaving out someone. I think Miss Barbara was involved in the meetings also. And we came to terms at that time, last fall, at what we all thought was a reasonable contract that could work for all parties. And I say all parties, I'm strictly referring to the citizens of this county. You know, I represent the citizens of our city, and as Mr. Thatcher said, we have to always remember the taxpayers of the city also pay county taxes, which is something that we tend to lose sight of, and they remind me regularly of that. Our citizens do. One thing I just bring to light here, y'all had the study by FD International, and you know, you can argue the point, you know, a number of points, whether this is right or this is right or this is wrong in that. But overall, you know, I'm assuming this was a professional company that y'all chose to come in, and that's okay. We've had to do that as a city a lot of times. When you don't know something, you've got to go to the people in the places that do know. I'm okay with y'all doing this. And I've had several people tell me the dollar amount that was spent on this, and really that's irrelevant.
$30,000.
Yeah, exactly, $30,000, and that's irrelevant how much was spent. It's what did you learn from it? You know, what part of it is acceptable, which part of it is not acceptable. You know, part of it in here I think we none of us could argue with was the estimated number of households in Titus County was 12,744. At that time, 5,925 of those, 5,925 of those was in Mount Pleasant, and 6,819 of the houses was in the county outside the city limits for the fire protection. 812 farms, 150,000 acres, and 98% of them are family owned according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, that's in the contract here. The population when they did this of the county was 31,039. The city was 16,361. I'm just saying, as you look at the report, you know, our county has grown tremendously in the last few years. What used to be 20 years ago was an area out here that was a rural area that Dad had 100 acres. Now there's subdivision, there's homes, there's big barns, there's equipment that requires fire protection. And I think that I don't think there's any debate today. I haven't heard any from the county at all on the quality of services that the city fire department has given the county over all these years. Did some things need to be tweaked in there? Absolutely. You know, but we all came to terms last fall that this was an agreeable contract, and we went with it. We fast forward to March or April of this year, and it seemed that everything went south on us, and wanted to renegotiate. Well, I said the whole time, excuse me, I said the whole time that the county needed to bring us something. You know, what do they want changed? You know, what wasn't acceptable, and let us look at it. We're absolutely the city council, and I can speak on behalf of myself and the city council, where Mr. Thatcher may not or may not want to, but the council was interested in what was the issues that needed to be changed, and as it come forward.
Let me say this before we go any further. Ed come to me as well, not wanting the out in the contract. And we sat down and visited about that. The reason that contract was $1.3 million instead of $1 million, that year, the $300,000 for the first 2 years, moving it to, that's $600,000 that we had in there for an out. And then Ed come to me and asked me about taking the out. So that's where the negotiations of this all started. Y'all not wanting the out and us paying the extra $600,000 to have the out in it. So, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Any of you interject any time on anything I'm saying that you want to add to, take from, or delete, just feel free to. In our contract on page 5, the city fire expenditures and all, and it talks about, let me see, that may not be I'm sorry, on page 6 on there, the termination default. You know, there is a termination clause in there. It's always been in there. And of course, I've been in business, as you all know, for probably 45 years, dealt with a lot of contracts over the years. There is a default in here by either party shall mean failure by either party to comply with any terms, covenants, conditions of this agreement which continue for a period of 60 days. And I can read all this, but most of you have it there in front of you. So that upon an event of a default by one party, the other party may terminate this agreement by giving a 10-day notice. When you read all the language, the 60 days, the 60, the 10, the best I can come up with, John Mark or our other legal counsel may have exactly the dates, but it's probably in the neighborhood of 130 days, you know, which is a little over 4 months as a default if one party decides for whatever reason they're not going to pay or there's a squabble. There's all kind of language in here that's been in the contract in the past that we all agreed on when we visited concerning this contract, the original and this one here. And there was nothing that came back to us that said any that needed to be changed or asked for it to be changed. And a lot of that being, we tweaked it some, even from what Commissioner Parker and Commissioner Parchman and Parker brought to us, that we looked at it, and it's always been in there that the county would pay 50/50 on whatever major expenditures that was out there. And we said, well, what in the event? What about the event where now, with the cost of these expenses for these major expenditures, that we go out and we finance this stuff? So y'all need to be able to do the same thing. I thought you absolutely need to be, and all the powers to be agreed with that. That y'all need to have that option. If we buy something that costs $2 million, y'all shouldn't have to cough up $1 million, and the city's able to pay it out. Y'all should be able to pay it out just like we do, if y'all so desire.
So on that, Tim, you saying that if y'all come, Chief wanted a new fire truck and he comes to y'all and y'all agree on that y'all going to come to the commissioners and we'll vote whether we want a fire truck or not?
Yes, sir. But I think also in this contract, what we have to understand is at that time, of course, there'll be a lot of us, that was alluded to earlier, a lot of us won't be here at that time. There's no doubt about that. That's in this room that are, I call it the powers to be, the city council, the city manager. So we want to make sure, I think going forward, that we have it clear what was intended in 2023 when this fire contract was made. And it clearly states in here that you come back and we negotiate. The city council and the commissioners court negotiate. At that time, who knows, 8 years from now, on the 10th year, it may come back, the city needs a piece of equipment. The county says, look, we can't go 50-50 on it. We can only go 30. At that time, the powers to be are going to have to look at this and say, okay, is 30% good enough? Can the city do the 70-30? And that's why we put in there also on what percentage each entity owns. We always had in there 50-50 because that's what it was. But we changed the language, tweaked it a little bit to whatever portion of the contract, whatever portion of the piece of equipment each entity owns. If you guys own 30% of it and the city owns 70%, then in the event of a sale or disposal of that equipment, you would only get the 30%, or vice versa. If y'all own 70% and the city own 30%, you would get whatever portion of that's when it's sold or disposed of. But at that time, it's going to always be a deal where the city and the county has to work together. That's never going to change. It certainly should never change. And again, this is to me is strictly about what's best for the majority of the citizens. You're going to have some on either side that aren't going to be satisfied, not going to in business, and anybody that says they've always satisfied 100% of their customers, that's just not so, or I never was able to, and I sure did try hard. If there's something in this contract, Judge, that y'all see that needs to be changed or tweaked, I ask you to let us know. We're here today. We can take it back to the council and say this is an issue. I know Ms. Barber has been asked a question. I guess my question would just be from the financial standpoint. I think you pretty much answered that. Not a personal issue on what you think ought to be done by the commissioners, because we all know it's strictly based on what the commissioners and the judge's decision is, and the same way with the city council. But financially, is this a contract that makes sense, I guess, is what my question would be. And I think you pretty much, unless you want to go into more detail with that. But that's a question, and the same thing, I think John Mark, Mr. Coburn addressed that on legally, do you see anything in there that stands out that wouldn't work or shouldn't work or needs to be tweaked or anything? That's would be some of the questions.
One thing I want to point out to you, you mentioned the fact that people who live in the city and the county, the differentiation between the property taxes. This is an opportunity, if the commissioners decide to take that route, to build the building without it costing local taxpayers any money. And if that is the plan, if that's what they want to do, we have those funds available at this time. It would not cost the city taxpayers or the county taxpayers.
Well,
it's to build a fire department.
Thank you. It would for the upkeep of it, no doubt. As the maintenance and the maintenance is going to continue, and the increase over the years. And I've been asked the question: would $1.1 million, would that take care of all the needs for the city to maintain the county fire department? And the answer is, it's going to cost us more than that. And you say, where are you going to come up with that? Well, that's going to have to be a deal that the city council, and we've talked about that, the amount of money that we're going to have increases all along. We know that. The 2.5% versus the CPI was something that came to us. We thought a 2.5% was a lot better. It's flat. It was easier to for each budget to make sure each year you know exactly what paying CPI, and I've dealt with CPI on contracts, and almost all of you have. Which CPI do you go by? Which one do you include this, the housing? Do you include that? Do you take this away? So, just to make it clear, go straight. 2.5% is what came up, and that's what. If y'all have a different version or thinking on that, then you're welcome to send that to us. But I'm here, to answer any question on behalf of the council and myself. I think that this is a decent contract, a good contract that is that'll give good quality fire protection for the citizens out in Titus County. And I appreciate, and I want to respect. I respect each one of you. I know each one of you personally, and I respect your decisions. But I just wanted you to.
Well, Tim, my question is, we always pay the city for everything that y'all give us any service. We give y'all service of the county jail, and that's y'all don't pay nothing for that. I mean, is that fair? I mean, any other county, most of them just a push when. If they'll furnish the fire department, the city does, and the county furnishes the jail. But we get nothing for our county jail.
Well, that's an issue, Commissioner, that has been brought up. No commissioner or the judge or anyone has addressed it with myself or the council.
Well, me and Ed have talked about this.
Okay.
So we have discussed it some. So
okay, personally, myself, I'll just say that I think that's a different issue, and
well, county jail costs a lot more to run than that fire department.
And can that be addressed? That's something that can be, Commissioner. I think that that's a separate issue than this, and I think personally, I think it needs to be kept separate. And we can talk about that at that time. I think at this time it's this fire contract and the what's best for a citizen for fire protection. Fire protection is a lot like insurance. I've always said it's not worth a darn until you need it. You hope to sit and play dominoes all day, every day, but when you need it for your home or your loved one, you're a wreck or whatever, that their use is needed, they can't get there quick enough. And I have been involved to know that. And I think they give quality fire. It's never been in question, I don't think. I've heard from any of you that's been in question. It's strictly what it costs and how much the fact that it's, so we've tried to negotiate. Hopefully this is satisfactory to you guys. If I can answer any question, I'll be happy to.
thank you.
Thank you.
I know I've already taken time to speak on what you said about our first meeting. Now, I think our first meeting the purpose of that meeting was to talk about an emergency management coordinator and having that separate. Then we did talk about the fire contract, and I know the purpose wasn't to talk about that, and you mentioned you didn't like the 1.3 and the 7.5% default and a few things, and that we could negotiate the contract. And I did say one thing we'd like out is the 12 months, because we could only operate 1 year at a time with that kind of thing. So it wasn't the purpose of the meeting for me to come and to talk about that. One other thing is that and the Judge and I have talked about this, as far as the jail, the city pays for the jail through the taxes, and if you have to borrow money to expand the jail, the citizens and property owners of the city will pay their part of that, over 50% of that. So where there could be some cost, they're minuscule compared to the running of the whole jail or the whole fire department in the county.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Ms. Applewhite, you have something on that?
Yes, I was just about to say that I agree with the fact that the city pays taxes
county taxes. And I'm just going to let everyone know that we made some phone calls, and out of 16 counties closest to us, 8 of them have emergency service districts. So in those emergency service districts, it's a completely different taxing identity that way it's spread across the board for everybody. So that's something that would have to go before to be voted on. But that is always an issue. I mean, there's always an option for the city taxpayers that feel like they're being taxed twice. If the commissioners go with the county or the city, then it's, the other way. So 8 of the 16. And there's multiple districts in a lot of counties because there's a lot of different cities in these counties. But for the ones that do not have ESDs, let me point out that Lamar County, which is Paris, and Paris is their county seat, their square miles is 933 square miles, and they have a population of 50,000 plus people. The county pays they budget $150,000 to be divided by 19 fire departments, and the city of Paris pays 0 for mutual aid. The Wood County, Whitman is the county seat. They're larger than us. They have 696 square miles. They have 45,800 plus people. They split $267,414 between 6 cities, and they do $194,586 they split between 6 volunteer fire departments. You can look at Sulphur Springs. Sulphur Springs has square miles of 793 and 37,000 square feet. They do have a home county fire department, and it runs 1.15. 7, and they give the volunteers 261. Now Pleasant is 426 square miles. We pay 1.3 and 235 to our volunteers, which bumps us up to 1.5, a little over 1.5. So if anyone wants it, this is just some homework that we've done, but I just wanted to point out that as a county, we try to do our homework on what the other counties around us do, and they spend. The smaller counties around us, and I'm sure y'all have mutual aid with Camden and Franklin and
Morris.
Morris. I mean, even Morris is larger than us, not population-wise, but square miles-wise. And they budget $5,200 per year. And
52,000.
Cam, they're all smaller than us, but not really in Fort Miles. Red River is huge compared to us, but they're growing. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out, and I'll remember down back at the ESG.
I was going to mention that if we get a fire district, then the county would run the whole thing, and all the citizens would benefit and pay for the same amount of it. And I think that's been suggested by one of my councilors. Most of the problems are political. People don't like to give up authority, but I think it's a good thing, and possibly we look at it as at least police and jail part of it too.
Anybody else?
One thing I'll just add, talking about that, I appreciate it. One thing I'll just add, I appreciate that, Dana. That's some good information. But, Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs has always seemed like Mount Pleasant and Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs has always been awful close business-wise and industry-wise, government-wise. And I remember the chief for the county fire department came, I think, and addressed the commissioner court here in the last year. And if I recall right, he, for what we was offering at that time, which was $1.3 million, now, we're down to $1.1 million with all the tweaking we've done. But at that time, he thought what I gather, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but for the quality fire protection that the county's getting, that was a bargain, is what I understood. I mean, am I wrong, Judge?
He said that they're covering a whole lot more ground than we got for less money, is what he told us.
We misunderstood, but I thought that he was positive that for the quality of fire protection on what the city sends out to the county.
Sulphur Springs has got 793 miles, where we just have 426.
I understand.
And they're doing it for 1.1 million.
Right. And I think the budget for
almost twice the budget.
I think
twice
for
the mileage.
I'm sorry.
On twice the mileage.
Right. And I understand their budget this year is nearly 1.2 for this coming.
1.157.
Okay, 1.157. So you're right there at what, and I think it's very compatible with what we're doing with and taking care of the administration, everything of it. Just more or less cut a check and
they've got 100% mutual aid with their city as well.
Sure, I understand that. All right, thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay.
Like I said, I would like to say, I've talked to people last week, and I appreciate them calling me, Tim, Chief McRae, and Mr. Beard, and I appreciate them for all their comments and stuff, and I appreciate it for giving us a call and everything. And Tommy James, I appreciate you calling, or getting you back with you and everything.
I'll entertain a motion, man.
Well, I still think this is a pretty good contract, and I think if this contract or this proposal would have been ready a year ago, it would pass with flying colors. So I'm going to make a motion that we go with the city for a 10-year contract of $1.1 million, and after starting at the third year, 2.5% increase up to the 10th year on this.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. 3-2. Number 8 on the agenda, consider and possibly approve the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-150 XL quoted from TIPS Purchasing Cooperative Contract number 220304 for, let y'all get out so we can finish, for $55,801.85 to be used for a constable transportation vehicle, and this is to be able to do our transportation to and from mental institutions.
We set aside this money when we was doing the budget to
Yes, sir.
to buy this for them because they had nothing that was dependable enough for them to transport.
The only thing that changes on this is that Constable Barrett did come to us and ask for us to go from a car up to a truck with running beds, said it would be easier for him to get in and out of, get the people in and out of, so we did change that. But we did budget for a car, not a truck, but we did say that it was okay to change that to that.
Did we go over what we budgeted for it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We budgeted $60,000.
Okay.
I think there will be some other cost. I think he's got to get
He's got to have a cage
or
and then maybe a toolbox or something to put their belongings in, but it should be close to that.
I've dealt with this personally because I was called, and he had a flat on the interstate, and he had a person with him, and it was when I drove up that they was fighting on the side of the road and everything, and he was trying to help the young man, and it was a fight. And I just think with this truck, he'll have better control of his people inside that truck, and it floored me when I drove up on it. And this car is, just so, it's small to get into, and I just think this is a good deal to help Ray and Mr. Barrett with his job.
Judge Cooper, I'd like to add one thing. In the TIPS contract, the minimum discount that Elliott bid was 0.5%, and what they gave...
That's in tips though, right?
Yes,
Okay,
tips.
it's gotta be that.
The minimum that they bid on their tips contract was 0.5%, so half of 1%. But what they gave us, based on the sticker price that they sent us with all the details, was 2.99%. So they gave us an additional discount more than what they bid, which is legal to do. So I just wanted to call that to your attention.
Elliott went above and beyond for Titus County. We appreciate that. Take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this purchase. Go ahead.
On that cost of $55,801, is this the same truck that we got, that we all got? We give $49 for them. Have they gone up that much?
Well, there's a couple of things. This includes all-weather mats, a spray-in bed liner, window tint. Your original trucks.
They didn't come on theirs, but Elliott ended up putting those on
Yes,
theirs.
they did.
All of y'all's got that, but it wasn't on there.
Did it come with running boards on it also?
Yes.
Well, it's not listed here. It is a 5.0 V8 engine.
The specs that we did come with the trucks did not include the running boards, and then the Jody's come with it, and nobody else has come with it, but I have put some on mine.
Okay.
And that was wasn't part of the original bid.
Running boards are on this truck.
Oh, were they? Well, that's good.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I just knew it was considerable amount more than what we had give for ours, so that's the reason I was asking.
And the next one's going to go up too,
Well,
because they're on strike.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve this purchase.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve the purchase of the 2023 Ford F-150 from Tips.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Number 9, consider and possibly approve the accountable plan for the Titus County employees who use the Titus County owned vehicles. We may need to table this. I don't know that we've got everything that we do need in it. You can take those for the personal use and putting those back. I think we need to talk about that and see just using those in the county and then for business out of town instead of getting those back as far as reporting those miles used.
Let me tell you how this came about, Judge. Because we have individuals in the county who were getting mileage and now are driving a truck, we are required to have some kind of accountable plan to give those individuals the opportunity to turn in any miles that might be personal. That's at their discretion, but they are required to turn that in. And we're trying to make sure, if we can, that the individuals with those trucks are not required to then pay income taxes on the use of the vehicle, 100% of the vehicle. So what I did was I got with TAC. I'm familiar with IRS regulations. Got with TAC, developed something. They've looked over it, and they've approved this. But there may be other things that you would like to put in there, and that's
add into it.
perfect. That's perfectly. It's at the court's discretion. This does meet the requirements, though, for the IRS.
I'd like to table it.
I'll make a motion to table this until we get...
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to table that.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, consider and possibly approve a 3-year extension of software service agreement with I3 Verticals LLC, formerly known as Net Data, at the rate of $203,000, $225,000 for year 1, and an increase not to exceed the 5% in the subsequent years to keep with the discretionary exceptions in Chapter 262 of the Local Government Code. It's the same company that we're using now. They just changed names. Incorporated.
What are we paying them now?
We are paying them now. It's close to that now. This is a slight increase. I will tell you, the first year I was here, I found that there were some things that we've been paying for that we were no longer using. So what I did is I sent that around to each of the individual elected elected officials, because it's not just from my office. There's software for the county clerk, the district clerk, the county attorney, constables, finance, checks, justice of the peace, jury selection, law enforcement, online jail custody, child support, government records, and index. 175 is what we have paid recently. They've not had an increase in a few years.
So,
This is one of those contracts that if the court decides, actually, your auditor is required to make the determination of the software that we'll use. That's in state statute. But it's not something that can just be decided because it impacts so many offices and the integration of that whole process. Currently, in the current year, the sheriff brought to you during the budget workshop that he is going to be making the updates for his office, and he's got the money, we've gone through the money in his budget to do that. My suggestion to you is that you look at next year, deciding whether or not you want to continue with that data or look at something else. I will tell you a conversion to another product is very time consuming. It takes a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. I've done 4 of those, and it takes a lot of time.
uh-oh.
It's very intense.
I'd like to just say, it's an expensive software, but whether we go with NetData or the other competitors, it's something we got to have.
What I don't know is this price competitive, what they're doing now?
Commissioner, I was going to say, because it affects so many different other offices, I'll say this, it's my understanding that a lot of counties has gone away from this company. When they incorporated the service, they have gone down. But as Barbara was saying, it's a big deal. It's a huge switching cost to switch to another provider. But it is something we probably should look at and get with the different offices and see, because it is my understanding that a lot of counties have gone away from this company. I don't know if that it's a price issue more than a quality
Issue, right.
And so, and that's not something, that's really not my expertise. Mr. Marcus was still here, he just left. He would have some input on this, county clerk as well.
Was it something we need to look at before we approve this?
I don't think.
I think we've got to have it until, I mean, yes, we can look to a different company, but we've got to have, we can't just stop today.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's something we have to go ahead and pass to be able to, okay.
But we'll look into switching.
I mean, not switching, but checking in and see why other counties and stuff have done away with it.
That's something I thought was a good idea, because based on what I hear, evidently there's some competitors that have a pretty good product out there.
Pretty good product. The only problem is the switching over.
Yes.
And if Miss Barbara ain't happy, nobody's happy. If Miss Barbara's not happy, nobody's happy. Something like that. I'd take a motion to consider and possibly approve the 3-year extension. That will give us 3 years to source it out and see what we want to do with it. Or
I'll make a motion.
got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor? All those opposed? Number 11, consider and possibly approve the holidays for the 2024 year. I've got a list of those, and I'll just go down and read those. We'll take New Year's Day as January the 1st. We'll observe that on Monday, January the 1st. Martin Luther King will be January the 15th, which is also a Monday in January. President's Day will be February the 19th, which is Monday again. Good Friday will be March the 29th, which will be a Friday. Memorial Day will be May the 27th, which is also a Monday. Juneteenth will be June the 19th, Wednesday, June 19th. Independence Day will be July the 4th, and that will be a Thursday, July the 4th. Labor Day will be September the 2nd, a Monday. Columbus Day will be October the 14th, which is also a Monday. Veterans Day will be November the 11th, which is Monday, November the 11th. Thanksgiving, November the 28th, which will be Thursday, November the 28th. And we'll also take the 29th, which will be that Friday for Thanksgiving. Christmas Eve will be December the 24th, which is a Tuesday this year. And we will also take Christmas Day, which is December the 25th, and that is a Wednesday. Do we have any questions on those holidays? Or
Make a motion to approve.
got a motion to approve the holidays for the 2024 calendar?
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carries unanimously. The Commissioners Court, we're going to approve those, and we'll post this schedule here. I don't know if you want me to read down them. I guess you will. The two that really change are, all the others will be the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, other than May the 28th, which we have a holiday there.
Mondays of the month.
Right, Monday, I'm sorry. The ones that change will be to a Tuesday. All others will be the second and fourth Mondays of the month. Where we change will be on May the 28th. We'll move that to a Tuesday because of the holiday. We'll also move October the 15th. Will be a Tuesday instead of a Monday because we're off on that holiday as well. And then the last one will be because of Veterans Day, November the 12th, we will have court instead of November the 11th. So there's 3 Tuesdays that we will have court. Other than that, there'll be the second and the fourth Mondays of the month.
Make a motion, we approve.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parchman to approve those.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor? All those opposed? Number 13, consider and possibly approve the 2024 Titus County Resolution for Indigent Defense Grant Program. This is a grant that we get, is that not right, Barbara? So we're just needing a motion so that we can approve to get the grant, so we get our money for that indigent participation every year.
And there's a large report that's prepared by my office and sent into the state, and they send us the funds that go with it.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Commissioner Parker makes a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 14, consider and possibly schedule a time for all 4 precincts to participate in the repair on 8 miles of road in Talco. Hollis, do you have those roads for us?
Thank you, sir.
That's your footage and your,
Okay.
everything I think it's all right.
Yes, sir.
Barbara, how much money have we set aside for that project?
Thanks, sir.
275,000.
275?
And we said 10 roads as well. That was just the best.
I think we said 10 miles of roads instead of 10 roads.
I'm sorry, yeah, 10 miles.
And this is 8, is that correct?
I'll try to answer any questions you can, that I can. Footage and everything.
How soon are we going to start this project? How soon are we going to start this project?
As soon as possible.
I mean, we got the weather permit, going into the winter months. I was thinking maybe we could start on about full of ditches, something we can do in the cold months, and then maybe get the weather permit, start on it.
I know we got rain this week, but if it's warm enough, y'all the guys that build the roads, if it's warm enough after that, I'd sure like to get them done.
I mean, some of them you got to tear up
Before
and
the end of
get
the year.
rain, and it's going to be a...
Ones you got to tear, that's got to be torn up here on this back page. I don't think we need to start them at this time of year at all.
I think it's getting late in the year myself on it.
Well, the main thing is, we told them we were going to do it, and we didn't get it done so far. They've got the memorial, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial coming, so if y'all don't think it's hot enough, I understand that, but if it's not hot enough, my request would be do it the first set of roads we do next year, if you're going to do it then.
I mean, there's some roads that we can do this year. I'm just saying the ones we have to tear up, we need to wait on. We can level up some if we got to bring in oil sand or something like that. Some of the simple ones, at least get started on the project.
But on
A lot of them are going to need full ditches as well for drainage.
But like I said, ditches right now would be the best thing to pull, got to get them all pulled because of the grass up on the road and all that. If we could get some of that cleaned off, it sure would be a plus if we get a bunch of that roads, the ditchways.
Do you have to go back? I don't know, I'm telling you. Do you have to go back again after you get the ditchways? if we do the ditches and stuff now, we have to come back in and do the ditches again before you put them down. You'll be good.
No, that's just a good start.
Okay.
Drainage where it needs to be.
That's getting the dirt, like I said, most of them, they got some dirt just a foot off the road, it's coming on the road.
Yeah.
If we get all that cleaned off, it'd be a heck of a start, and, but like you said, can't get below, I don't know, 45, 50 degrees, just chip,
50 degrees,
yeah.
if you go below 50.
Yeah. And,
a chance.
but now it's, I think after this 80 degree this week here, I think it's supposed to be start cooling down, and in 40s and 36s at night, and that wouldn't be a good deal to tear up a road and,
Not be able to fix it. We don't want to tear anything up that we can't get back down, but,
then you have kids over at four-wheel drives.
The other thing, there's some of us that, everybody in town is really looking forward to the new road, the bad thing. That was a pretty poor community. However, 4th of July will be coming up this year. It took us 3 years in the makings, but the Vietnam Memorial Wall will be in town. It'll be there. It'll come in on a Tuesday night. We'll set it up Wednesday, and then it has to stay open for the public Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is the 4th, 5th, and 6th. There's all kinds of obligations that we had to meet to do this. We don't have the infrastructure, and our streets is a big problem. Of course, money, we got to have cars, we got to put the people up that bring the wall in, and it's basically a temporary federal memorial while it's here. It's a good thing for our county and all of our surrounding counties. The judge and I talked about it earlier. Part of our obligations that we have to do, we have to notify our county and all the surrounding counties. So the judge is going to do that for me with that letter. But our infrastructure is where we fall, way short. How we ended up getting this thing, I have no idea. Because we're going to be the smallest town
let's ever host to.
get this wall. So it's a big thing for Titus County. It's going to bring in a lot of money. There's going to be people coming in from all over. Hopefully, there's already people coming in from out of state to watch the 4th. But they told us what all we need to be prepared for. And of course, Talpa doesn't have a motel. They don't have a restaurant and all that. So everything's going to be coming into Mount Pleasant.
a crawfish at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have enough crawfish that we do.
What roads, if we go with that, what streets do we need to focus on first? As far as, yeah, the memorial is going to be, like I said, we should be able to,
Anything around the park, basically the parks and your cemeteries, and your churches, that's where the money is.
Okay. Like I said, it shouldn't, everybody get together, it shouldn't take like when one person does it.
One person does it.
Everybody get on it, be done with it. And
how many miles can y'all do a day if you got all on it?
Well, it's according to what all you got to do. I mean, if on some of
Let's
these,
say we had to tear it up and
if
carry
we
it
have to
back.
tear it up and everything, maybe 3 miles a day, if that much. I mean, it's just according to how much you have to tear it up and how much you have to pack it back in.
So we're talking
how long
about
it takes
9 to 12 days that we could get it done.
Possibility, yeah.
15 days according to the weather,
Right.
If the weather holds out, I mean,
Yes.
if we have a wet spring like we did this year, then, it'll be tough to get it.
Y'all want to see if y'all can get over and start the ditches in the next, I think it's supposed to rain this week, and I pray to God it does.
Yeah.
But if it don't, if it's not too wet, to try to get over it next week, see what we can do about ditches, and if it does warm up, get them done so that they're done. If not, we've got to have them at the first of this.
Yes.
And when's it going to warm up? May? I don't know when y'all start your roads.
I mean, we started some this past year, scabbing some roads in March,
Okay.
but
There'll be some of them roads on that too, on that part there, surely. Well, they just scab.
Basically, all the city's going to have to help as far as equipment, it's going to be a backhoe and a small
Well, that's why we're going to try to send all 4 over there at the same time.
Okay, we got both our maintainers over at Talco right now at our other yard, and like I said, they're cleaning up trees right now, but if it starts raining, we'll clean them up. But, you know, we can, if we do it in the rain, it's going to make a mess. And, you know, the roads are going to be dusty, and, you know, people are going to raise Cain. But either way, we'll just, you know, we can get it, you know, we can clean ditches.
Are we going to need to pull them and haul it, Dana, or are we going to be able to?
Some of them are got curbs, but some of them don't have curbs. But we'll have to, you know, if we had to haul it, you know, somebody would
drop some of it.
We can file it.
yeah.
Y'all have a place to dump it, we don't have to haul it back up.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a lot of people that'll take it because there are always people asking for it.
And we can do that. I mean, if there's somebody close that wants it, to keep
Yes.
us from having to haul it back
Back
to
to
one of
Mount.
our yards or,
Yes.
you know,
That'll save a lot
way off
of time,
somewhere.
money, and
If
effort.
there's somebody that wants it, then we can, that's the only way we can get on private property, but we can do that.
If you can find them a dump spot.
What we normally do is what we can pull with our backhoe, we stockpile it, and then we have a policy where somebody wants field dirt, we allow them so much field dirt in a year, we kind of spread it out. Because when you first pull those ditches, a lot of it's grass,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
grass
yeah.
and everything. So by the time it rots and everything,
It's really good soil.
Billy go plumb crazy for that.
Well, if you'll work on us a spot to have to dump that over there, if it doesn't rain, then let's try to get over there next week. Is that good with all 4 of y'all? or-
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
Well, that'd be a good asset.
Tell them in Talco we're coming in masses, so we'll be there as soon as we can get there.
Do we need to, when we pull these ditches, like, if you were to start shooting roads to try to figure out some way of sweeping that dirt off the road?
We've got,
We've got
We
brooms.
have
we got
sweepers.
Got 2 brooms. Jody's got one, and the other 3 of us have got another one. So we've got brooms to sweep the roads and all that.
We'll check the weather, and if it seems like it's hot enough for 15 days, we'll try to shoot it out this year. If not, it'll be the first part of next year. But thank you for your work on this and getting this to us.
We really need somebody to coordinate this, where we won't all be on top of each other trying to work. I mean, if, I can bring my excavator over there, and the ones with curbs, I can clean them. And, you know, if somebody will coordinate it, well, you want to do that?
I don't mind doing it.
Just appreciate
Go ahead.
But like I said, I don't mind, but like I said, we got those 2 excavators could really help, but you know, some of those roads, like I said, are just grew up on the side. And the ditches are just flat, but you know, we get any kind of drainage and it'll help them a whole lot over there. And, but I do appreciate, Hollis, the hard work you've got this here done, and I know you put in a lot of hours trying to get this done. And every year you have a great program over there at 4th of July.
We're not,
It's actually something, the 4th of July, we never intended that it ever was going to
do what it does. Right.
Put Talco on
Here, if
the map.
anybody want to donate time or money or effort, we need churches, civic organizations to be involved.
Gotcha.
I'm going to leave these up here with y'all in case anybody wants to.
Perfect. We'll put some of those out. So we're not going to actually give them an exact day. We're going to depend on the weather this week, and then Dana's going to be coordinating, and then we'll go from there. Is everybody good with that? If I got a motion for that, then.
Okay. I'm gonna drive over. I'm gonna ride over. Okay. Okay.
All right. Make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve going to work over there on the Talco roads in the
Second.
next month. And second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Number 15, consider and possibly approve the quarterly investment report. Ms.
Y'all been getting that?
Yes, ma'am.
I completed it, Walter completed it.
You two ladies good with it? I've seen it. I just,
Excellent job.
thank you, Mrs. Applewhite. Consider, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Commissioner Mitchell makes a motion to approve the quarterly investment report.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor?
Yeah.
All those opposed. Number 16, approve oral and written reports of the county officials.
Make a motion to approve those.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parchman to approve those written reports. Got a second by Commissioner Mitchell. All those in favor? All those opposed. Number 17, consider and possibly accept the treasurer's report as a matter of record.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parker to approve that record.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? All those opposed. Number 18, approve the budgeted amendments. Barbara? None. We don't have to approve anything, so we don't need a motion. Number 19, sign the pay orders and approve the payments.
Make a motion, to pay bills.
Jimmy makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? All those opposed. Closing comments. Jeff, you have anything? Jody, you have anything? Dana?
Well, like we had the benefit this past weekend at Sugar Hill that for a young man that has had a stroke, and I think it was a successful one. And we do pray for the Thompson family, him get better. And I'm just glad to see the community reaching out to that family and time of need. And we got a lot more that needs it too in our community, all over Titus County.
Absolutely. Jimmy?
Only thing I want to say is, I know that this fire deal has been a thorn in everybody's flesh, and I do want to say that if we're through negotiating now, that I want to tell everybody that I will be behind it 100% and do whatever I can do to help get this thing started. But I don't know that we're going the right direction, but anyway, that's the way I'm going to be. That was made in court, and I just want to say that I'm behind it if that's the direction we're going now.
Okay, well, Jimmy, I appreciate that, and I think we all got to work together, depending on whatever happens. We've got to be together, and we're a whole lot stronger if we're together than instead of separate. If we're pulling different directions, then we hurt everybody that's involved. So I appreciate your time today. It was a little lengthy court, but we appreciate everybody that came today, and so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to adjourn. Second by Commissioner Parcher. All those in favor? Aye.